And welcome back, everybody, to Let's Play Sonic Origins Plus. In the last episode, we were continuing our Game Gear voyage here, and we had completed Sonic Labyrinth. Probably one of the more infamous games on the Sega Game Gear, but in today's episode, we're going to be really scraping the bottom of the barrel with what I deem probably one of the worst games in this whole package, Sonic Blast. Ugh. I don't like this game. I'm just gonna flat out tell you right now, I don't like this game. Players choose between Sonic or Knuckles in this title that brought pre-rendered graphics to the Game Gear. So this game has the same kind of graphical style as like Donkey Kong Country. Big whoop. Sorry, I'm not enthusiastic about it. But anyways, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Can't even get the rest of the Sega chant out of that. Anyways, we're playing Sonic Blast for the Sega Game Gear. This is, how do I put this? It's not a good game. It's not a good game at all. I don't like this game at all. This game is weird in the sense of, you'll kind of see it. First off and foremost, it's got the pre-rendered, like, graphics from, like, I don't know, like, it's kind of weird graphic style. It kind of reminds me of a lot of Donkey Kong Country, in its art style. That's not that's a good thing for Donkey Kong Country, because that game looks really pretty with the graphics that it had at the time. But while the graphics look good, it just doesn't look good in this setting where it's a kind of an 8-bit system, and I don't know, Sonic looks disjointed, his animations look really stiff, and I just don't care for it. And not only that, like I said, this game's got the biggest problem. It's got the screen crunch, as you can tell from most Game Gear games, but this game's got it worse. But the main goal for this game is, well, obviously beat it. But in order to get the Chaos Emeralds, because you collect the Chaos Emeralds in this game too, you have to find these giant rings hidden in the stage. There's one in every stage, and you have to find it. And once you get access to the special stage, you have to do this kind of like, I wouldn't say it's half pipe, but, you know, just race along this auto-scroller foreground thing, 3D effect. And you have to collect 50 rings in the special stage. And it's kind of like, this is kind of a really hard special stage to go through, in my opinion. I'm making it look pretty easy, but I practiced this game a couple times. But one thing they don't tell you is when you complete the special stage, you think, oh, this is great. I got 50 rings, everything's all coming up pretty good, coming up roses. I'm gonna get the Chaos Emerald. What's this? What is this? That's not a Chaos Emerald, that's an extra life. There's a caveat to all this. Chaos Emeralds can only be gotten in Act 2 of the stage you're in. Act 1 special stages just exclusively give you extra life. That's it. You don't get a Chaos Emerald, you don't do any of that. You get an extra life. I'll tell you one thing about finding out about this when I first played this. I said, are you kidding me? That just is so counterproductive. What's the point of doing Act 1 special stages then? If it's just going to give me an extra life. I guess if I'm running low, I can do it to get it, but that is so much time wasted to do to get an extra life. It is so stupid. But yeah, Act 1 of every stage has the special stage, just gives you an extra life. Don't even bother doing them. I'm just showing you where they are, where the giant rings are that lead to the special stage in Act 1, just in case you're curious if you ever play this game. I'm just showing it off because it's there. That's all I'm doing. I don't like that this is the thing. And one thing about this game, one thing I will compliment it on, is they gave Sonic a double jump in this game. Yeah, Sonic can double jump in this game, which is, I'm going to tell you right now, the best thing that this game has to offer. Everything else is bad, but this is pretty good. Double jump really does help a lot in the situations, especially with, you know, missing certain areas. It makes me come back and get certain things. I'm trying to get this life up here, by the way, so I'm going to have to use said double jump in order to get to it. But yeah, they gave Sonic a double jump in this game, which we haven't seen since... I mean, the next time they give Sonic a double jump that I know of after this is Sonic Colors. Sonic Colors gave Sonic a double jump again, and I was surprised to know that that wasn't the first time Sonic got a double jump. It was actually in this game that he got one. But mainly the biggest thing I have with this game is not only the fact that the special stages kind of like fool you off first and foremost with the Act 1, but I don't know, the momentum feels weird in this game. The hitboxes are all over the place. I say that, and I mean, prime example is this special stage here. I swear, there's been a couple times, I swear, I hit a ring, but it didn't pick it up. Like right there, did you see that? Like that first one. The hitboxes on the rings, especially, are like so close. I think they're like super tiny in order to register and pick it up. It's like not only in the special stages, but in the game too is like this. So trying to pick up rings is hard because the hitboxes are weird. Sonic, like I said, Sonic's momentum is all over the place in this game. I think they're just trying to compensate for the fact that his sprite looks odd, to say the least. I don't know, this art style doesn't do Sonic any favors. I don't like it. Especially on an 8-bit system that's really, like, tiny. The screen is super tiny. But once you cleared this, you get a Chaos Emerald. There's only 5 Chaos Emeralds in this game that I know of. I think that's it. Yeah, I think there's only 5 Chaos Emeralds. And in case you haven't, like, weren't paying attention to the little animated cutscene at the beginning of the game, Sonic, like, one of the Chaos Emeralds, like, busted open and it came 5 pieces to make another, or, like, all the 5 pieces of Chaos Emerald broke from one giant Chaos Emerald? I don't know what the deal is with that, and frankly, I don't care about this game too much. Like I said, I hate this game. I hate this game so much that I don't care about the story. To be perfectly honest, I just don't care. But Act 3 of every stage is a boss stage, and one of my biggest thing with the boss stages is it's like got a little bit of a level to it before you get to the boss. And while in Green Hill Zone, this isn't that big of a deal. Later stages, it will be. Now, looky here. One thing I don't care for, and I don't know if it's just Sonic that's like this, because we'll see it when we play as Knuckles later, but, like, trying to hit certain things on the boss is really difficult with Sonic. At least for me it is. Like literally, like, I can barely see him because he goes off screen a little bit because his jump's a lot higher than Knuckles, and it becomes a little bit uncontrollable to maneuver Sonic to hit the spot where he needs to hit on Eggman. And that boss particular, you have to hit the window of his little Eggmobile in order for it to count. And that's kind of weird. Anyways, this is level 2 act, or zone 2, which is called Yellow Desert Zone. Yeah, the theming of this game's level structure is color and noun. That's it. Yeah, color and noun. Location. Color, location, noun. That's the theming of the level. We had Green Hill Zone. Now the next level is called Yellow Desert Zone, and it's gonna be like that for the other stages too. Yeah, that's a lot of things, like, with this game in particular. I just don't like it, because Oh, like I said, that screen crunch. I tell you what thing. There's a couple times where I miss jumps and I don't mean to because I didn't know where it was. But that's just the way this game is structured. Right here, if you come down this pipe and you'll notice that this thing doesn't, like this bumper doesn't hit you far enough, you have to just double jump up in order to get this special stage. Again, I don't know why I'm even bothering showing these. These are nothing burgers, special stages. Act 1 special stages are just nothing burgers. I show you all the location of all of them, and I do all the special stages. But, yeah. Another thing that really is annoying with the special stages, because of how the hitboxes are with the rings, you can lose these special stages pretty easily because I miss a lot of rings. There's been times I've had to restart special stages over and over and over and over again because I couldn't get enough rings. And one big thing with Sonic and Knuckles, whenever you go through special stages, they're slow as molasses going left and right. And you got one set of rings on the right side, and then the next set's all the way over on the left side. So trying to maneuver Sonic over from the right side to the left side is like going through like a swamp. You know, like Sonic's going through a swamp. He's like really slowed down, and it's really hard to get there in time in order to pick up the next set of rings, and they are really kind of tight with how many rings they give you, and plus on top of the fact that they've got the hitbox weirdness with the rings. I don't know, man. I don't like these special stages because in having to reset on these special stages, the music has gotten kind of grating on my ears. So like every 5 minutes, it's just like, oh, I failed the special stage. Dun 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 dun. I'm sorry. I hate the musical special stage. It's so stupid. Anyways, Act 2, we are inside a pyramid. They definitely took inspiration from Sonic 3 in this game. Not only the fact that Knuckles is in this game, but Act 2 of a desert level is inside of a pyramid, where Act 1 was outside the pyramid. But, some of these special stages are kind of really cryptic to get, and this is kind of our first, like, super duper cryptic one. I wouldn't say it's, like, super duper cryptic, but it's really hard to figure out what to do in order to get this special stage. But yeah, I think this is the first time I've actually, like, recorded a game that I don't like on my channel. I don't know if this is actually, like, the first time, but it's the first time that I can remember. This part right here, this is the crypticness. You go into one of these craters on the wall, and it kind of, like, puts you on, like, a little, like, auto-scroll path and whatnot. You have to get into a certain path for it to launch you up to the top of the screen here. I think you have to jump up here. Right there. And it takes you to the special ring that's right there. And like I said, it's kind of cryptic. It's like one of our first cryptic ones. We haven't gotten to the super duper cryptic ones. I'll tell you what, we'll get to that later. It's not like I hate the music. It's just like I've gotten really, I don't know, it's gotten grating because I've been hearing the special stage over and over again. Oh, by the way, I should mention too, there's nothing in these special stages that will hurt you and make you lose rings. That's a plus, I guess. Minus the fact that I can easily miss rings really easily in this special stage because of the hitbox wonkiness and slow as molasses tank controls between left and right with Sonic. It's nice that they considered not putting obstacles that can make you lose rings in these, I guess. We got our second Chaos Emerald. Like I said before, these have, I think there's only 5 of these Chaos Emeralds in the game. I don't know if there's a 6th one. Maybe the ending, if you beat the final boss, the drops one, I think. I don't know. It doesn't really show you that in-game, but like I said, I don't really care for this game. I don't really care for the story of it. But, yeah. that's kind of that. One thing I will say that's kind of annoying about the special stages is once you complete the special stage, it doesn't drop you back where, like in Sonic 3, when you found a giant gold ring and you finished the special stage, whether you finished it or not, it would, just drop you where you got the gold ring. Not in Sonic Blast. Sonic Blast decided, no, you're going back to the checkpoint, last checkpoint. And if you didn't get a checkpoint from this, you're starting the level over again. Okay, why? That's stupid. Gosh, I don't understand why that was a thing either. But yeah, that's one of the annoying things about doing special stages, because then you're having to backtrack doing stuff that you did already, but alas, it's just one of the many problems that this game has. Anyways, this boss is kind of pathetically easy, I guess. I don't know what to describe it. I say that and I got hit. You just do the same thing you did in Boss 1. He just comes around and, you just attack his helmet windowsill thing on his pod, and he'll come unattack you every now and then, but it's easy to dodge out of the way. Especially if you got a double jump. Like I said, that's the only good thing about this game is Sonic's double jump. That's it. I can't really, good thing. Music's okay, but it's not great. You want to talk about good Game Gear music? Load up Bridge Zone. Bridge Zone from Sonic 1 on Game Gear. Yeah, that one's a real banger. Anyways, after we complete Yellow Desert Zone Act 3, we head into Red Volcano Zone. Like I said, color and adjective location. Or not adjective location, noun location. That's the theming of this. This zone's kind of weird because one thing that I don't know if YouTube's compression will kill this or not, but this level is really bad with the graphics. Like when I was recording this, oh my gosh, this area did not like my capture card. Like I said, I don't know if YouTube's compression is going to be really bad, but once we get to one of these like lava areas that there's like a giant lava waterfall, it's going to kill the frame rate. I don't know if it's on the video. Like, I don't know if it came up like that in my recording software, but it just did not like that effect right here. You might see it a little bit once we get to the lava waterfall area. But yeah, this zone is kind of surprisingly just there, kind of like the other zones. It's really not that bad. The special stages in this zone are kind of up high. Yeah, right here. It's gonna kill. Yeah, there we go. It's like killing. It's just like there's just nastiness all over the screen. Screen smear. I don't know what it is, but it's just that lava area that does that. I'm hoping that YouTube doesn't make that an issue, but on my cash card, it just looked like it didn't. I'm watching this on VLC right now, and I don't know. But yeah, these special stages, that special stage ring was kind of hard to see. I just know it was in the lava waterfall area, but for the most part, you have to jump all the way to the top or something like that. I'm trying to get all these rings here. It's kind of hard to do that. Like I said, these special stages are kind of annoying. Just flat out annoying, man. Trying to get through all of this crap. Avoid the bumpers here and trying to collect all the rings. Trying to avoid the booster so I don't miss anything. And with that, there we go. We got 50 rings. Okay, like I said, I don't care. It's just a life. Who cares, right? Anyways, yeah, I don't know. That lava area just kills my video, and that's just a testament of this game in general. Like I said, I think this is the first time in my channel's history. I don't know. I can't recall of me actually recording a game I absolutely despise. All the games I usually record are stuff I love. played for the first time, ended up liking it, or that's it. I don't recall ever recording something I actually didn't like. So this is a first, and now you can kind of see why I don't do this very often, because I'll tell you one thing, this video has been really hard to get to editing, because I was dreading playing this game, because I just don't like it. It's just like one thing, like I know most people, on YouTube especially, can say, oh, I'm going to be playing this awful game, it'll make good content because, you know, I'm sitting here complaining. The thing is with me, with games that I don't like, sure, I'll voice my opinions on certain things, but I'll tell you right now, I don't like playing games that I don't like. I mean, who does, but I don't know. I just don't see the point of doing it, because I'm just like, I'm just going to be ragging on and being negative the whole entire time, and to some degree, I don't like being negative in my videos unless I absolutely, you know, have a valid crash out or valid, you know, opinion on something that I don't care for. But when the whole game is that's my problem. Oh, by the way, this special stage can just stop being the way it is. I just don't. This special stage is really hard to get to. You have to double jump and land on a badnik in order to launch yourself into that little corner there. I got it easy with Sonic. Once we go through this game with Knuckles, oh boy, that took a while to get to that special stage. Oh, I don't like the way that special stage is positioned. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Like I said, I don't recall ever recording a game I actually didn't really like playing. And that's kind of a first, I guess, after you doing YouTube all this time. I'm surprised this didn't happen until today when I recorded this video. It's not like I'm Let's Play. I mean, I technically am Let's Playing this, but this is part of a bigger series. This is like one part of a bigger series, but I technically am like Let's Playing like, what, 16 games at this point? Anyways, we got our third Chaos Emerald after all that hoopla. Again, with this game, it drops you off at the last checkpoint instead of where... Luckily, that last checkpoint was right there where the special stage ring was. But, yeah, I just don't care for that. Oh, by the way, these guys return from Lava Reef Zone, where you have to be on these like little machine here, and you do a spin dash, make it go up. Oh man, I almost forgot what those things did. So like, when I got there for the first time playing through this game, because I practiced this game. In case you didn't know, like this year I've played all these Game Gear games in preparation of this recording, because I knew what I was doing. I knew I was gonna do this. So I was playing through all these Game Gear games for the first time. So when I got to this game, I was not having a good time. You could definitely tell why I'm not too happy about recording this, because this game is not good. I honestly think that this is probably one of the worst Sonic games that came out, to be perfectly honest. Like, I know everybody rags on Labyrinth from Game Gear a lot, but to my degree, this game is like 10 times worse than Labyrinth. And Labyrinth was just there, in my opinion. It was okay game for the most part. It wasn't annoying and made me frustrated. This game legit made me frustrated, and we haven't gotten to the part where I'm frustrated. I've been kind of negative about this whole game this whole entire time, talking about, oh, I hate this game, blah, 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 blah. But we haven't gotten to the part that actually made me angry. That's next zone. Anyways, yeah. But yeah, we come over through here. Yeah, Lava Reef. This game's kind of like Lava Reef. Or this level is like Lava Reef, but Red Volcano Zone is kind of like just there. It's not like hard or anything to get through. Oh, by the way, these little like time cards are very... I have to complain about that. You know how most like games are like, oh, they have like the screen transition showing the stage name and everything else. Well, that right there is fine. But it also had like a little bit of information on there. It shows you your life count. It shows you the name of the level. But it also has a timer. It says time limit 10 minutes. I'm sorry, do you see a timer on the screen at all? No, me neither. Why did they not put a timer on the screen here? All the other Sonic games did. Like, if you have a time limit in your level, I at least would like to see a timer on the screen to see how long I've been in the level before, you know, you randomly kill me for whatever reason. I'm like, why did I die? And realize, oh, time over. I'd like to know that. Granted, I really super duper doubt you will ever have to worry about, you know, running 10 minutes in the level, because these levels are really short. If you couldn't tell, a lot of these levels are really short. Now that's going to change next level, but still, yeah, these levels are pretty short, not gonna lie. But yeah, like, that's one thing I'm like, why is there no timer on this screen? Now, I don't know if they changed that in the Master System version of this game, because I know this game has a Master System version, like every other Game Gear Sonic game seemed to have one. I was very mistaken when I made that comment back on, like, I think Sonic Chaos, I think it was Sonic Chaos. I made a mistake. I completely forgot that, like, most of the Game Gear games got it as like a Super Master System port at some point, because I realized I completely glazed over the fact that Master System was a kind of like a big system that was supported for a long time from Sega back in like Latin America areas. Like, I know that in like it's big in Brazil. I know it was big in Brazil for the longest time. They had the Master System over there for a long time, like well into like, shoot, I don't know how long. Like, it was really long time period of that being supported. So, like, it got a lot of ports later on with this with this like series of games getting ported. By the way, Blue Marine Zone. I'd like to before we get started on this level, I'd like to make a formal apology to Labyrinth Zone in Sonic 1. I made like a comment about how much I hated this zone. It's the worst zone in Sonic history, blah, 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 blah. I am so sorry. I am so sorry, Labyrinth Zone. I didn't realize there was worse pieces of garbage. This zone is 10,000 times worse than Labyrinth Zone. Oh my god, I hate Blue Marine Zone. This is the level that made me legitimate angry. Oh, one, it's a water level. That's already a downer. It's got the water mechanics from most Sonic games where if Sonic's in the water for a while, he'll drown. That's already another point in contention. He's slowed down tremendously in a game he's already pretty much slow in. That's another point of contention. Biggest content, it's got the freaking pipes for Sonic Hedgehog 2 8-bit. It's got the freaking pipes. I don't like these pipes. These pipes are annoying. That's another point in its worst contention. You know what else it's got that's really freaking annoying? These power wash cycles. Okay, let me explain this. You see, every time like there's like a current taking Sonic away, that's like a little bit of a hitbox zone that Sonic hit. Once Sonic hits that little zone in the area that you can obviously see where the trigger is at, it'll suck Sonic through till the next like little current there. Okay, so I'm going on these little tiny platforms, but I jumped way too high on those little platforms, which I need to go through, and it power washed, rinse cycled me through to the next area again. I have to do this over again. Oh my god, I hate this. Like, look at this. This is stupid. Like, I can't see where I'm going at all. Like I jump here, I gotta jump on these tiny little platforms I can barely see, and now I finally got there without jumping too high to get sent off to next week and start over again. I wasted so much time because of barely hitting the little field where I'm getting sent to back to start. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200 again. You know, it's... Anyways, we got through that section. By the way, that's not going to be the only time we get to deal with that. Anyways, we got the little air bubbles things here. But one thing that the drowning mechanic does in this game that's a lot different than the other game is if Sonic stays in water for a long time, he'll have a countdown till he drowns, like normal Sonic games. But the thing is, though, once it hits 0, Sonic doesn't die. It starts draining his rings he has on hand. And then once you hit 0 rings, then you die. Which, in some degree, that's nice. That's actually, like, gives it a little bit more time in the water. You don't have to worry about that. I guess that's a good mechanic, but it kind of threw me for a loop here. By the way, this checkpoint right here I just broke. Keep that in mind. That is the weirdest checkpoint in the entirety of this game, and I'll understand why. I'll tell you why when we get to it. Anyways, you want to jump over to the left side of where that checkpoint is, and you want to hit the button that drains the water here. And you want to go all the way back down in order to jump over here on these little springs that take you to these little platforms. And then finally, once you get to the top here, you can get to your gold ring for the first special stage. That's only for a life. Why? Why am I doing this again? I'm sorry, guys. Anyways, yeah, like all that stuff just for a special stage that just gives you life once you're done. Ugh. Blue Marine Zone is the zone that's going to take you a long time going through because the game itself is slogged down tremendously already because of the water mechanics, Sonic's slow speed, and everything else, and the labyrinth, like, maze-like areas with pipes. And I even forgot to mention that Sonic's, like, air meter in this level, it resets every time he goes through a pipe. Anyways, we come back to this checkpoint, and looky, I jump over here, there's the end of the stage. What in the world? What was that checkpoint? What in the world was that checkpoint, man? That was so, like, weird placement of a checkpoint. Like 5 feet in front of the goalpost. What is that? I guess they put it there in case you were trying to get to the special stage, but then again, why are we going for that special stage when it's only going to give me a life? What's the point? Blue Marine Zone, I hate you. I hate you so much. Like I said, I'd like to make a formal apology to Labyrinth Zone in Sonic 1. I'm so sorry. You're not that bad of a level anymore. Just because this zone decided to come up and like 10 times anti you. But I'm so sorry, Labyrinth Zone. I'll always want to replay you rather than this zone. Because I frankly don't want to ever touch this game again because this zone's made me so angry. Yeah, I hate this zone with a burning passion. This zone is what made me not want to play this game anymore. I can't stand it. And I'm only showing you the parts where I did good. Like, I got through the level pretty good. Because I cut out all the nonsense, all the fluff going through this. But I'll tell you what, when I was recording this recording session... Oh, by the way, here's the timer thing. This recording session... Like, the video itself is like, what, 2 hours long? The video itself, like, when I recorded this game for both the playthroughs of Sonic and Knuckles, it was 5 hours. Not kidding. I'm not kidding. It was a 5-hour playthrough for both these games. And I cut out all the stuff to bring it down to like 2 hours. That's 3 hours of content taken out. Anyways. This is another one of those segments that I hate. We want to come over here to hit these little, like, get on these little itty-bitty platforms that you can't see because the screen crunch is a big issue. And trying to get on these platforms is a pain in the butt. And if you don't get on the platform, you fall down, and you go through the power wash cycle again and have to start over again. Who thought this was such a good idea? Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna try to get over there as best I can, but I slightly fall off, and I go back, and I have to start over again. It's annoying. It's just flat out annoying. But I'll tell you a secret. When we get to Knuckles, I realized something on this part, because it's the same level in both games. I don't have to come down it this way, where I'm at right now. If I go a little bit to the right, I can land on these platforms from above on the right side instead of the left side here. And I'm just trying to carefully position myself to land on these platforms in order to not fall down and have to start the whole process over again. But yeah, we go through here, we finally get another rinse cycle. We want to hug the left side down here in order to come down to this area. I'm gonna go and grab a air bubble here, because like I said, if you start to drown and you run out of time on your timer, it'll start draining your rings. And if you couldn't tell, I only have 3 rings, so I'm not gonna last very long. This is one of those other sections where if you hit the hitbox just right, the invisible wall there, Sonic will get just sent back downwards with the rinse cycle. I keep calling it the rinse cycle. It's a current, but I felt like I was in a washing machine every time that happened. That's why I call it that. Anyways, yeah, I just want to try to get my air back again, because I don't want to deal with this crap. But yeah, this Chaos Emerald. Now we're finally getting to the Chaos Emerald part. I'll tell you what, like I said, this level is like super duper long because of everything going on with it. This Chaos Emerald is kind of another one of those super duper cryptic ones. We want to jump in this area. We want to jump all the way to the top, get on this platform, and jump up and go down to the right side on this little ramp area here. Go through this, and at first we want to hit the bumper that'll launch us to the top pipe. But once we get spit out here, don't do what I do, because I forgot there's a step over here. You want to go through this wall to get on these platforms here. But once you come over here, you'll notice that there's a wall blocking this area. Well, I forgot to do something, so we're gonna have to go back. We go through this like invisible wall here, but where the pipe spat you out, you want to jump up and hit the switch here. Yeah, you wouldn't have saw that switch because the game doesn't. The screen crunch is a thing. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Anyways, once you hit that switch, you can go back to where we were. We can get to the gold ring. Cryptic, I know. I almost died because I almost drowned because I was wasting so much time doing that. Anyways, this is, what, our 4th Chaos Emerald? There's only like 5 levels in this game, which I guess is a good thing, considering I don't want to play this game. So, oh, I have a story to tell with this game in particular, too. I remember years ago when I think I was recording the Sonic 06 playthrough on League, on our collab channel, Peer League. This was years ago. I think a conversation of worst Sonic games came up, and, you know, we had a normal talk, like, games like, you know, Sonic 06, Sonic and the Secret Rings, Sonic 1 on the Game Boy Advance. You know, those are, like, common titles, but my friend, SaxDude26, he mentioned Sonic Blast. And at the time, I didn't, like I said, I never played this game until, like, this year. He mentioned Sonic Blast, and I was like, I've never heard of that game. And he explained to me what the game was and all its problems. Well, I never really took it into any consideration. It wasn't until I actually played it this year that I got what he was talking about. And I was like, holy crap, this game is awful. Oh my god, this game is awful. That's just all I had to say. And I was like, I messaged him after that, and I said, Marley, you were right, man. And he was like, right about what? And I said, all those years ago, you were talking about how Sonic Blast is a god-awful game. Well, now I understand. Now I believe. I believe it is. Honestly, I'd say it's one of the contenders for worst. And that's saying something when Sonic Free Riders exist and the game doesn't even freaking work. So, yeah, I'm hopefully after this recording session, I'll never have to touch this game again. Ugh. Like I said, the first 3 zones are fine. There was a lot of questionable choices on the game that I didn't really care for. The physics were like a big thing that kind of threw me off for the most part. But this zone right here was what my breaking point was with how I felt about this. At first, I thought it would, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. When the first 3 zones happened, I was like, okay, this is definitely a 6 out of 10. Well, when I got to this zone, it immediately dropped it down to a 3. I could not stand it. I was like, oh, God, this is horrible. I hate the water mechanic in this game, and just hate everything about this. It has like all the weird tropes I ended up hating from the other Sonic games, and I can't stand it. It's just, ugh. Why did they have to put in these pipes? That was one thing I just don't like, is these pipes. I don't know. And screen crunch. I mentioned that before, didn't I? Yeah, I'm sure I did. Anyways, this section right here, I'm getting stuck, and obviously I should be jumping in that segment where I'm like going between 2 pipes there, but I don't realize it until it's way too late. And then until my 3rd go around, then I finally realize I need to jump here. And then I can finally get through this god-awful stage. Worst Sonic zone in history. This is flat out the worst Sonic zone in history. Anyways, we're on Act 3. This is the boss stage. One thing with this boss, again, those boss stages in Sonic Blast seem to have like a level beforehand before you even take the boss on. And it's like you have to find the area where the boss is at. And once you do, then you can find it and blah, blah, blah. And like this is the red... I didn't even talk about it in Red Volcano Zone, but I'll get into it later when we go through it with Knuckles. But yeah, I just don't like the way that they designed the boss. Like, I really wish it was just like a straightforward thing. Get a couple rings before you go fight the boss. This boss is annoying. And I don't know if it's mostly me, because I didn't get it. But they also didn't really explain it very well. You see how I'm underwater during this boss fight? Yeah, that already makes it seem like... You know how in Sonic 1 on the Game Gear, where we were underwater for the boss in Labyrinth Zone? Yeah. They gave you infinite air and you have to worry about holding your breath. Not in this game. They make you worry about it. And as you can see, I got an air bubble at the very beginning, but when I first bought this boss, and this is like literally the first, like, second time I fought this boss here. Look, my timer is going down to 0. I'm starting to drain rings. Luckily, the animation finished. Stage is clear. I didn't die. I didn't want to know what happens once I hit 0 during a cutscene where I'm like, yeah, beat the boss. I wonder if I would have died. Anyways, there was a way in that boss fight you can get more air bubbles, and I didn't realize it until we did Knuckles. But if you let the air, like if you let him shoot his projectile down on the ground, he'll make an air bubble. Nothing in the game tells you to do that. You just have to notice it. That's alright. I mean, like I said, it's kind of one of those things that it was probably a me thing, did not notice what was going on. But still, I don't think it's kind of very fair to be not taking air bubbles. Anyways, I'm done talking about Blue Marine Zone until we have to go through it with Knuckles again. I'd rather not talk about it. Anyways, this is Silver Castle Zone, the final zone of the game. This is a labyrinth, to put it lightly. we have to go through these little teleporters, and yeah, it takes me back to the beginning of the stage. You notice these little platforms that if I go on it, it kind of like goes down and it powers up like a bar there. That gives it power to certain one of the teleporters in order to get to the special stage. So you have to make sure that the machine is powered on before you can even go to the teleporter to get to the special stage. I think it's this one up here we have to go through. Yeah, it's this one. Once you come up to the room with another one of these little things that you have to power up the machine, that's when you know you're in the right path in order to get to the special stage. You come over here, activate it again, open up this teleporter, and it takes you to the gold ring. This is the final gold ring for Act 1, so this is our final life we have to get for a special stage. I did extra homework, guys. I really don't know why I even bothered showing all these special stages that just give you lives. There's no point to doing any of these. I guess if you're low on life count, you can do it. But I don't see why you would have issue. This game is... It's not hard, it's just annoying half the time. So I don't see myself dying too much to the game. The game doesn't give me enough challenge to make me worry about game over that much. Except for a couple things, and I'll get into that later. Don't worry about it, I'm getting to it. It's later. Anyways, we got our last life from special stage. I am going through this again, but I don't know why I was going through that again. I already did it. Anyways, we gotta find the way in order to go to the end of the stage here, because like I said, this is kind of a labyrinth. It's hard. It kind of reminds me of Silph from Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf. Or no, Fire Red and Leaf. Well, I guess it is Fire Red and Leaf Green. Red and Blue. You want to teleport until you come down here to this little pit that has a closing-in spike wall chasing you, and you just gotta keep outrunning it until you get to the teleporter. And once you go through here, that's pretty much the end of the stage, because if we keep going to the right here, we're gonna hit the goal post. These stages are really short. I say that, and freaking Blue Marine Zone was super duper long, but that's totally different reason why that was long. But yeah, this is the last main stage of the game. This is Silver Castle Zone Act 2, and in order to be very careful, right off the bat, you saw there was like 2 enemies right there. I died a numerous amount of time just running into it by accident, because you don't have rings like the first 5 seconds of the level, and they throw enemies right here before you can get rings. And I forget that sometimes, and I died like a couple times because of... Anyways, you want to come all the way down the left, hold down the left button, or hold down left when you're falling down that hole to get on the bridge, and then you can jump up on the invisible wall up here and take these teleporters through here, and you're going to get our last special stage of the game. This is the final special stage for the final Chaos Emerald. And this special stage is probably the hard, these are kind of the hardest ones. Silver Castle special zones are hard special stages because the biggest problem is this whole going all the way to the left and going all the way to the right in order to get all these rings here. And Sonic not having enough speed in order to get over there in time. As you can see, it's really hard to move all the way to the sides. And they do this constantly in this special stage. But we got through it. We got our last Chaos Emerald in the game. So now we have the good ending for Sonic Blast. And I'll tell you what you get for getting the good ending. Or what you unlock for the good ending. And again, since I didn't hit a checkpoint, after I hit the special stage, we're having to start the stage over, essentially. And keep going through here again. But I'm gonna go through the path in order to get to the special stage again. Namely because this just takes you straight to the end. If you take this. So yeah, you could come down here. And you just go through this segment right here. It'll take you straight to where you need to go. So that's why I went through it again. Again, another segment where the wall chases you with spikes. Just be careful. Just get out of there as soon as you can. Avoid the monsters. Monsters, badniks, whatever you want to call them. And that's the end of the stage. That's the last main stage of the game. Now we got our Act 3, which is just the boss. Anyway, Silver Castle Zone Act 3. This stage, I should say, it's a boss fight, but in order to get to the boss fight is freaking annoying. Another one of those things where it's just like, dude, why can't I just go to the boss? Why do I have to play like a little mini level before we do this? Especially when it's the final boss of the game, man. It's so stupid. Anyways, yeah, we have to power up the machine, make sure that the switch appears, hit the switch, and then go find the teleporter that it activated. Which, I think it was that one, but I don't remember, and I just don't care. Just follow the video while I'm doing. Trying to hit this teleporter here, and I think this takes me up to the top. And I just fell down again. I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to do this over again. Because, yeah, once I come down here, I realize, oh, I've been here already. Thanks, game. I really like teleporters. I really like teleporter puzzles. They weren't annoying to begin with. God. I'm so sorry, guys. It's so negative in this video. I'm only halfway through this frickin' video. And I'm so freaking negative about it. I'm so sorry if I come off, like, really horrible, like, really absolutely just negative in this video, because I'm not normally like this. But this game really just takes it out of me. But we want to hit this freaking teleporter to get transported to the boss. This boss is really easy. His gimmick is he puts you on a giant hamster wheel, and you have to run to move this platform in order to make sure the platform blocks the shots that Eggman shoots, and it bounces off of him, bounces off that plate, and hits it back at him. You're essentially playing Breakout, from like the old game Breakout. If you don't get the platform in time, he'll shoot the laser, and you just have to simply jump over it, and whenever it comes down. But one thing I will mention in this mini game, when Eggman is over there charging up his shot, you can move the wheel in the cutscene. There's nothing stopping you from moving while in the cutscene. So, if you see him preparing for the shot, start moving the platform before you even before he even pans down back at you again. So, yeah, you want to keep doing that. And that's just it for this boss. Is we're just playing Breakout, which I think is kind of a cool idea for a boss. I guess you could say this boss is pretty cool. I like this boss. Really easy to figure out. Kind of a cool gimmick. Good on you, Sonic Blast, for having something pretty cool. Because, like, everything else is awful about you, except the double jump. I still stand by the fact that the double jump is pretty much the only good thing about this game. Besides this boss, I guess this boss is fine too. Okay, two things about Sonic Blast that's pretty good. Double jump and this boss, penultimate boss, because this isn't the last boss. This is the last boss if you didn't get all the Chaos Emeralds. But since we did get all the Chaos Emeralds, we unlocked the true ending, which has an extra boss fight at the end. After you clear Act 3, this little cutscene activates. And now Sonic has to fight a egg drone thing. I hate this boss. This boss made me angry when I first played it. And that's mainly because of Sonic's little, like, remember how I mentioned in, like, I think the first boss fight? About how the screen crunch is a problem in boss fights? This is the main issue. The boss whole thing is, he's moving around at the top, and you have to stand on his little base there. And once you stand on the base there, he stops, has an arrow pointing to his chrome dome, and that's your opportunity to jump and attack him. That's fine and dandy. And he's got like 2 little like spiral spears on the top of his head, like little antennas, that if you don't hit just right in the middle, you'll get hit. Which luckily, this boss fight gave you 99 rings during the boss fight, because I guess they knew it was kind of bad. I guess they were trying to simulate a supersonic boss fight when this really isn't a supersonic boss fight. But anyways, my issue with this is the fact that the screen crunch makes it so hard for Sonic to aim Sonic correctly at the top of the screen in order to hit the middle of the boss fight. And then once you get a couple of hits on the boss, the base starts moving. So now we have to have that in consideration. So that's pretty much that, and we have to, you know, make sure that everything like jumps around, you know, to make sure we have enough time to jump and hit. But I missed my shot because I can't see where Sonic is on the screen, and I don't know where he's gonna land, and I don't know what the momentum is, and this is why I was having trouble with this boss fight when I first played this. I still have trouble with this boss fight when I do this. Luckily for me, and I guess this is a little tidbit for people, if you want to avoid his little energy ball attacks that he's doing, just stand in the corners. He can't hit you when you're in the corner. No, none of his ball attacks hit the corners for whatever reason. Yeah, even if doing that right there, the ball that's all the way on the side there, it whiffs. So yeah, I hate this boss. This boss was in Blue Marine Zone, is what ultimately made me hate this freaking game. This was the breaking point for me. This final boss was pretty much the breaking point. And I think this, like I said, this is an optional boss fight. So if you don't want to fight this thing, just don't collect the Chaos Emeralds. I guess I could do that, but this is 100% playthrough and I have to show it. Anyways, after you do that, you do it a couple times. There we go. We destroyed him. Final boss is beaten. Thank God. Thank God. And I guess we were on the Death Egg. I thought this was a castle. I guess we were on the Death Egg. I don't know, man. So Sonic decided I'm gonna do a Belmont pose and watch the castle, I guess, crumble. While I have Chaos Emeralds in the... I guess this is also a Donkey Kong ending in a way. Donkey Kong Country had the same kind of ending. Where, like, all the Kongs look in the distance and the sunrise and blah, 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 blah. Anyways, that was Sonic Blast. I've already talked about how much I hate this freaking game. But I hate this freaking game. Oh my god, I'm hoping I never have to record a game I don't like ever again. I know I did this to myself, guys. Before anybody in the comments section says, you didn't have to play this game for us. Yeah, I know I didn't have to. But I did because I thought it would be kind of cool to show off all the Game Gear games in this collection. I guess I could have just showed this and not really, you know, did a let's look at instead of a let's play. But anyways, that's Sonic Blast. There's only 2 positives I can really tell about this game, is the fact that the penultimate boss is a kind of a cool idea because it's Breakout and Sonic has double jump. That's it. The screen crunch, the weird momentum, the horrible hitboxes, the level designs in the later part of the game, and the bosses are frickin' stupid. But we have to play this game again. Because I have to follow a trend. There's 2 characters to play this game. We're playing as Knuckles. What's different? Nothing. Why am I doing this? Because I'm crazy. Knuckles plays a little bit different than Sonic. Knuckles, unlike Sonic, can't do a double jump. He can only glide, and he can stick to walls and climb it, like in, you know, all the other games that Knuckles appears in. He can glide, he can stick to walls, which I guess in some senses makes this game a little bit better when you can just climb walls, because trying to get to certain areas is kind of annoying. He does have a kind of a gimped jump rather than Sonic has a higher jump than Knuckles. Knuckles has kind of got a lower jump, which, you know, that complaint I was talking about with the boss fights before, that helps it. Knuckles having a shorter jump made the boss fights easier. I'm not even kidding. Because I'm not having to worry about Knuckles being off screen when I jump too high that I don't know where he is to come back down to hit the boss's weak point and not take damage. I'm not even kidding. I'm being dead serious. Like, the boss fights in this game are a lot easier with Knuckles because of that reason. If only they didn't have screen crunch. Like I said, I've never played the Sega Master System version, and I'm sure that game doesn't have screen crunch problems, because that's a console game, and it's got a wider screen, where this is literally just a handheld that has a very tiny screen. That's pretty much that. Yeah, I'm sure the Sega Master System version doesn't have any screen crunch whatsoever. You know, one thing that Knuckles does that really does annoy me, though? This glide, man. Look how much my descent is with this glide. The descent is so fast. Like, I'm not getting any, like, airtime with my glide whatsoever. Like, I drop like a rock. This is what I'm talking about with the freaking physics and the momentum and the nonsense. Like, it's hard to use his glide properly because I drop like a rock when I'm gliding. That's not normal. Oh my gosh. And I'll tell you one thing. It makes it would make one of the Chaos Emeralds, or not Chaos Emeralds, one of the special stages easy to get, but it doesn't. It does not. Oh, yeah, look how fast my glide is going down. And I get it. You know, if you can stick to walls and climb up the walls, it's not a big deal. But I'm trying to get to... I'll get into more detail when we get there. I'm just going to hold off on saying that point until we get there. Ugh, but yeah, like that's the one thing with Knuckles that really does infuriate me, is the fact that his glide is so gimped. And I don't know if it has anything to do with his momentum, like the way that this game's momentum is, but... Yeah, because look at this, I just spin dash, and I got no speed off of that. This is what I'm talking about with the spin, like the momentum being weird. Like, even the spin dashes don't really do anything. The spin dashes don't give you any speed whatsoever, when that's the whole freaking point of them. Besides, you know, using it as an attack, but... The whole point of a spin dash is to make yourself go faster at a push of a button. You know, it's supposed to give you a burst of speed right then and there as soon as you push it. But I feel like I don't get any of that. Like, it's just like the same speed as my running speed. And I don't know, man. It's Sonic Blast. And the return of the stupid special stage music. Dun 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 dun. Oh my god. I'm surprised I was able to talk this long. I mean, I don't know how long this is going to be in order to, you know, keep talking like this, but yeah, I'm surprised I had enough to talk about for... I guess that's what happens when you don't like a game. You have a lot of talking points to talk about the stuff you don't like in this game. I don't normally... Like I said, this is like the first time I've really played a game I absolutely hate on this channel. And I don't like showing this side of me because I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I'm usually pretty positive about games, and even ones that a lot of people don't seem to care for, I can usually find what's good in them. I can usually find the good things about it. But then there's this game, and certain other games that I'm just like, dude, I can't play this game. This game's horrible. And I know, like, some people at home probably look at this game and say, this game doesn't look that bad. You need to play it for yourself. If you have Origins, just play it. If you have Origins Plus, that is, just play it and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. This game is just... I'm probably going to change the thumbnail of this video and, like, you know how my avatar is? I usually have them on my thumbnails, on my videos and stuff that I might just put the rage face from, like, the meme culture on my body and be like, ah! I don't know if that'll improve my view count or anything, because I'm technically clickbaiting, but, you know... See, look at that! Look, man! My glide, if this was any other Sonic game, my glide would have hit that first hit with Eggman. But no, I have to get closer to Eggman to initiate the glide in order to hit him. I can't be from the other part of the screen in order to do that. No, that would be too easy. We're gonna make Knuckles descend like a frickin' rock when he's gliding. I can't do this character no more, guys. I don't want to be negative all the time. Anyways, we're going to Yellow Desert Zone. Speaking of desert zones, how is it that in, like, almost every, like, I wouldn't say every game's like this, but a lot of video games I play, the second level is always a desert theme. What is with that? Anyways, I tried to actually, like, use the glide to hit the wall to see if I can climb up that giant, like, pit there. Little one thing like that, I was like, oh, I'll go down these giant pits. And try to climb up the pit again. Okay, this Chaos Emerald. I had to use a freaking wall climb because I can tell you right now, I wasn't gonna make that with the glide. So I had to use the wall climb in order to get to this one. Which I guess is not, which is a smart thing to do, rather than try to do it the way I'm trying to picture, you know, that guy that trying to push him boulder up the mountain and he's not succeeding in anything. That's what I was trying, like, originally going to do, but then I realized, no, that would be too hard and make it in my life miserable. I just go and wall cling on that wall that's right there above that pipe, just climb up, and now I can get to the Chaos Emerald special stage. Not the Chaos Emerald, this is Act 1. This is not a Chaos Emerald, this is an extra life. Why am I doing this again? I don't know. I really don't know. Like, honestly, there's one thing I could change about this video I recorded. In Knuckles' playthrough, I would have not shown the freaking life special stages. I would have just passed Act 1 special stages altogether and just gotten the Act 2 ones. But I don't know, whenever I know something's there, I don't know if anybody's like this when they play video games, but when you know something's there, and you can skip it, like in repeat playthroughs, if you have to do like a repeat playthrough of a game, and you know something's there, but you can skip it, you still instinctively go get it. I don't know if anybody else has that problem. It's like a weird OCD thing about it, but like you have to go get it even though it's completely optional and you don't have to do it because you've already done it before and you technically don't have to do it. But you do it anyways because it's just like, well, it's there, I gotta get it. I don't know if anybody else has that problem, but I certainly do. That's why I got all this freaking special stages again, even the ones that don't matter. I legit didn't even have to, like I said, I didn't have to show the ones that don't matter again. I technically didn't even have to do 100% in this playthrough because I already did it with Sonic, and literally for Knuckles, if you couldn't tell, Knuckles has nothing that's different. Like, none of these stages are different from Sonic and Knuckles. Which, you know, in the previous games that had multiple characters on the Game Gear, you know, Sonic Chaos had Sonic and Tails, but the thing is, though, Tails couldn't collect the Chaos Emeralds. So I'm like, okay, well, Tails can't collect the Chaos Emeralds, I might as well show that because, you know, I'll be able to show off the neutral ending, I guess, with Tails. I don't, because he technically can't get a good ending because he can't collect any Chaos Emeralds. And then Sonic Triple Trouble came along, and it was like, okay, so both characters can collect the Chaos Emeralds and get the good endings of the game. But Tails has a couple neat things that are only exclusive to him that I kind of wanted to show. And I'm glad I did. If there's one thing I'm glad I did is play both characters in Sonic Triple Trouble. Because I found something out that I didn't even know, because when I did my practice file of that game, I didn't even play Tails' playthrough. Like, all these practice playthroughs I did of the Game Gear games, when we did multiple characters, I only played the one. I only played Sonic. I didn't play Tails. I didn't play Knuckles in Sonic Blast, because at that point, I was already tired of this game. I didn't want to play it anymore until I recorded it. But, yeah, I didn't play any of the other characters in these games. So, whenever I played through Sonic Triple Trouble for the first time with Tails, I was pleasantly surprised. Because not only was, Tails plays different because he can fly, obviously, but the fact of the matter is, in that one stage, he gets a little submarine. That surprised me. I was like, that's so cool! Then I realized that it was a tie-in to Tails' Adventure that came out later. I'm like, that is so freaking neat. I'm glad I got to show that. I'm glad I showed all that. But once we got in here to Sonic and Sonic Blast, where we had both Sonic and Knuckles to play as, I'm playing through as Knuckles. There's nothing different about him besides, the fact that he can glide and climb up walls. You don't get anything extra from playing as, there's nothing, unique about Knuckles except, his moveset. Which you think if you play multiple characters, you kind of expect that. But with how the other Game Gear games went with multiple characters, I thought they would give, Knuckles special stages, because, Sonic 3, we haven't even gotten to that. That's a spoiler. But I'll tell you one thing. The reason why I'm doing Sonic 3, or I'm doing a Knuckles playthrough of the Sonic 3 and Knuckles stuff later in this playthrough, is because Knuckles' playthrough is completely different. He has a lot of, lots of differences in his run through than Sonic and Tails do. So of course I gotta show it. It's completely a new playthrough. Whereas in this game, they could have at least done something, because that's what I originally thought when I played through that, because most games, when they had a Knuckles playthrough, it was completely different than the other ones. Like I said, Sonic 3 and Knuckles has got a completely different Knuckles playthrough than Sonic. And Sonic Mania, the same goes for that. Knuckles has a lot of exclusive stuff in Sonic Mania. I thought they would do that same thing for this, but I guess this is the rare exception where it's the exact copy-paste as Sonic's. And I hate that, because we went through this level, or we went through this game again, and essentially just did it again. I mean, granted, I'm fine with it, because thematically I wanted to do this, because if I did both characters in all the other Game Gear games, I might as well do it here. Do I want to? No, not really. But I want to keep consistency. That's what I'm trying to get at. I want to keep the consistency. I want to make sure that, I do show off both characters, because it's, I did for the other ones. Even though there's really nothing different about this one. This stage right here with Red Volcano, I actually got kind of a little bit annoyed with Knuckles. And like I said, this whole thing with his glide being gimped is one of the main reasons why. And by the way, I want to say sorry for all the weird screen smear that's going on with this compression. It just did not like this effect whatsoever when I recorded this. So I'm sorry if you see it like a weird screen smear. I hated that. I was like, dude, why did it do that? But anyways, yeah. right here, you would think, oh, Knuckles has got a glide. He can get to this special stage ring pretty easily, right? No, he can't. Unless you, like, get to the very top, and then at the top of your jump, then you activate your glide. You'd think that, like, I would, like, have an easier time, but really, it's like the same with Sonic's, really. Sonic had it a lot easier because he had that double jump. I'm gonna be honest with you. As much as I do like Knuckles fighting the bosses, because his boss fights are a little bit easier, in my opinion, with the way his jumps are, Sonic got the better end of the deal with getting a double jump. Like I said, the only good things about this game are that double jump and the penultimate boss. The design for it. The gameplay design for it, that is. Everything else is kind of trash. Well, I guess we can probably put Knuckles' Gimp Jump for boss fights as a good thing? Even though that's a weird, quote-unquote, good thing. It's like, oh, Knuckles can only jump, like, a little bit. He can't jump as high as Sonic. Okay, how is that a good thing? Yeah, it makes the boss fights a little bit easier. Anyways, we got through Red Volcano Zone Act 1. Red Volcano Act... I'm tired if you couldn't tell. Red Volcano Zone Act 2. Oh, boy. Okay, you remember how to get the Chaos Emerald in this level? When we did it with Sonic. Okay, you remember how I told you it was annoying because you had to do like a bouncy trick on the Badnik? Okay, Knuckles. Knuckles had a heck of a time trying to get the special stage. And I don't know if I was doing it wrong. If I was doing it wrong, please tell me in the comment section. I'll be honest with you. I had a heck of a time trying to get this thing with Knuckles. And it's just essentially because of the fact that he doesn't have a double jump like Sonic does. Okay, so Chaos Emerald. We come up here. The special stage is all the way on the right side from the top of this platform here. But do you see the problem there? It is way too high up. And I'm like, okay, so what do I gotta do here? Normally, I would have thought, okay, put up a spin jump and then try to glide. But as you can tell, since his glide is gimped and drops like a rock, you can't reach that ledge in order to wall climb up it. No matter what I did, I could not reach this with glide because of how weighty he feels. Oh my gosh, like I literally was trying to do this for a long time, and I almost got it because I figured out that the only way I was going to get this is if I bounce off that Badnik and glide into the wall just enough so that way I can stick to it. And eventually I got it, but like, literally, like, what is this? Why? Oh my gosh, trying to get the special stage with Knuckles is a nightmare because you don't have enough height in order to get to that platform. The only way you can get that height is if you bounce off the stupid Badnik at the right angle. Oh, I tell you what, like I said, this is what I was talking about, like I was having a heck of a time with Knuckles with this. This is the reason why. Because his Gimp Jump can't jump as high, so I can't, jump high enough to activate Glide, but the thing is, though, my Glide is still gimped. So I had to be lucky and bounce off that freaking Badnik in order to glide into the crevice there to get to the special stage. That was horrible. That was horrible. Like, why design it like that? Like, I just don't get it. Like, I get it. It's supposed to be a hidden thing and kind of a reward for exploring a little bit to find the special stage ring, but why? Why did we have to do, like, a Badnik jump in order to get to it? It shouldn't be that hard. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be that hard. But no, Sonic Blast is like, I don't care, man. We're not gonna do any adjustments for the two characters, even though the two characters move completely different from each other. We're not gonna do any adjustments to the level design at all. I got it. I don't care. I got the frickin' thing, so we're just not gonna ever play this stupid stage ever again. Yeah. Anyways, let's finish this stupid stage. I come down here and just grumble. Something about grumble. Go on these little platforms, activate spin dash, go up, and we're just gonna go until we get to the top, and then go down again, fall down the pit. Go in the lava, I just don't care. I've decided I'm gonna tank it, I'm just gonna go. Yeah, you're supposed to get on a little puffer thing and jump on it until it, like, makes you cross the river of lava, but at this point, I was just like, dude, just tank it, just go. Go around the loop-de-loop. Well, I didn't even talk about the loop-de-loops, because that was, like, the first indication that I knew that the momentum was weird in this game. Is going through the loop-de-loop. Normally in Sonic games, going through the loop-de-loop isn't that hard to figure out, but like it's like, okay, if I have enough speed, I can go through the loop-de-loop. But in this game, you have to have enough speed in order to get there, but like normally in normal Sonic games, if I'm at the base of the loop-de-loop and activate spin dash, I can go through it pretty easily because I have enough speed to go through the loop-de-loop. Well, in this game, since spin dash is GIMP 2, it has no momentum to it, you can't do that with the loop-de-loop. I didn't even mention that, but that's stupid. Again, every like move in the move sets of these two characters are like super duper gimped, except Sonic's double jump. That's it. Like, I feel like Knuckles is kind of bastardized because his freaking glide is different. But alas. Oh, I didn't even talk about this when we were Sonic. This part right here, where I'm going up this little thing right there, you know how you have to jump over here in order to get to the segment with the boss fight there? Can I explain why that you have to do it that way? Because the screen crunch makes it so it's like, I don't know where to go from jumping from that little platform there. The screen crunch makes this game harder than it needs to. Unless you're Knuckles and you already have a gimp jump and fighting this boss isn't that difficult. This boss is annoying. I didn't even talk about this with Sonic, but this boss is annoying a little bit because, as you can tell, there's not a lot of room in order to maneuver on this little platform here. Even though this platform follows you and everything, there's not enough room to avoid getting hit with Eggman here, because if he extends his little like wrecking ball all the way to the side there, you have that like little sliver of room at the side. Unless you go in the middle there and you go where the chain is. The chain doesn't hurt you if it goes through you, so you're fine there. You stay in the middle. But I don't know. I found that a little bit kind of not forgiving, I guess. Because there's not a lot of room. It kind of reminded me of the final boss of Metroid Zero Mission, where they only give you like a little bit of room in order to maneuver. Anyways, yeah, we're back here again. We're back here again. This is Blue Marine Zone again. One thing I didn't do, I don't think I did, I can't remember if I cut this out or not. Right there. Knuckles might have a little bit easier time with this than Sonic does, because he has wall climb here. Him having wall climb helps a lot, especially when the minor areas where the current happens if you hit the right angle. Yeah, this will help you a little bit here, because I was trying to stop Knuckles from, flying around, having to start over again. But once we come through this pipe here, if I stop and I grab this wall here, normally I would just come over here and try to position myself this way and jump and do that. But if I stop right here, I can just wall climb up here. I don't have to deal with the stupid platforms. I don't have to deal with the rinse cycle. Thank God. Thank God. Because that was most of my time in Sonic playthrough trying to deal with that crap. But since Knuckles is like, nah, I'd rather climb. Makes this stage a little bit more manageable. I guess wall climb is a good thing in this game for Knuckles. Even though his glide is super duper gimped, at least he's got the wall climb. And it's still pretty consistent. Okay, another good point for Sonic Blast, I guess. Wall climb saves us a lot of platforming. I'm trying to get to that weird checkpoint that's like 5 meters away from from the end of the stage. Oh, I still don't understand why they put a checkpoint right here, right in front of the goalpost. Like, I get it, because you want to be right here in order to activate this switch and go all the way down to the special stage. Once special stage done, then you respawn back at the checkpoint, and then you don't have to go very far for the end of the stage here. By the way, this right here, you don't have enough height in order to get to the next platform as Knuckles, because his jump is gimped. What they expect you to do is glide over here, use the wall climb, and then glide into the said ring. Jump into the said ring. That's what they expect you to do. They didn't even take into account that Knuckles' jump is gimped. So you have to do it an alternative way in order to get up to that ring. This is what I'm talking about, like copy-paste. They didn't even bother changing the level design up at all for Knuckles. Even though Knuckles has got a completely different, you know, move kit than Sonic does. And different, like, tools and stuff like that, and different momentum physics. They just literally copy and pasted the level and just like, we'll ship it out. Ship it out like that. I'm sure the kids will like it. Spoilers, they didn't. They didn't at all. Dude, I'm being cynical in this video. I'm sorry, guys. Anyways, like I said, right like 5 feet in front of the goalpost, put a checkpoint. Who designed that? I've never seen a level design like that. I'm gonna make sure that you don't stub your toe in that 5 feet between here, the checkpoint and the goalpost. So that way you don't lose life for stubbing your toe. Act 2. Okay. I think in Act 2, if I remember correctly, there's a couple places where Knuckles has it a little bit easier than Sonic does in the zone. Mainly because of like I said, the wall climb is kind of helping us a lot in the zone. It's not making me as angry. So I guess if you want to play through the zone, play as Knuckles. And if you just can't be bothered and be like, I guess I'll play as Sonic and make my life living heck. I'm just saying, is after we beat the zone, we never have to look at this freaking zone ever again. Ever again. Unless I end up recording this game for, like, El Pure League or something. God, don't ask me to do that. Anyways, yeah. You remember how I told you about I didn't learn about going over here? Yeah. Over here, if you just drop from here, you can land on the platform pretty easily. And it makes life a little bit easier than having to go through the rinse cycle of trying to use the screen crunch in order to get to the platforms. Do that instead, please, for the love of God. Do that. It wasn't until I played as Knuckles I realized I could do that. I literally, like I said, I only played this game like when I played it before, when I was recording this. The only time I ever played it was my practice run. That was it. It wasn't until, you know, until I realized as Knuckles, because things like you guys didn't see beforehand, is there's a lot of stuff that was cut out. Me dying in the stage because of the water mechanics and me drowning and me getting annoyed and stuff like that and resetting save states and stuff like that. But I was here for a while as Knuckles. Me realizing that little trick of going to the right side instead of the left side on that, like, pathway there, that was me after, like, 50 failed attempts with going on the right side, because I did the same thing as Knuckles as I did with Sonic, and that was a big no-no. Don't forget the switch again, like I did with Sonic. I didn't forget this time. Go through the fake wall here. I think we can just try to jump up here and didn't have enough oomph there. But yeah, we go through here and get to the door and jump on this platform in order to not fall down, because I don't want to fall down. It's really trying hard not to fall down here. Do 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 do. Anyways, I didn't mention the special stage with Sonic when we were playing as him, but this special stage is kind of difficult as well. Same with like Silver Castle special stages, namely because the biggest problem with this special stage, they have a lot of rings that are up in the air, and I mentioned before that the rings have really weird hitboxes in this game, where you kind of have to be like right on them in order for them to count that they are collected. And trying to jump and collect the rings is harder to do than normal, because you end up missing more than half the time that you do it. Anyways, we got the freaking Chaos Emerald, the fourth Chaos. We got the damn fourth Chaos Emerald. So now we can get out of the stage, because frankly, I don't really want to be here. Even though Knuckles had a easier... Well, I shouldn't say that. You guys are seeing the easier time with Knuckles, but really, I had just as bad annoyance with this zone as Sonic did. Namely because I was running into the same issues and I didn't realize half the stuff that I could do with Knuckles until like I reset like 4 or 5 times. Anyways, we gotta go through here. Go through this pipe here. Do the rinse cycle again. And I'm trying to hit the platform here, trying to get myself to go upwards now. I think we gotta come here. Oh, I didn't even talk about this, but like the shield animation's kind of weird. Like, yeah, you got a shield like in most Sonic games, but it kind of acts like invincibility. As you can see, it's like just little stars that are flying around your character, rather than you know, like just an actual bubble. I don't know if it's because it was like limitations at the time, but I don't know, man. But it looks like invincibility, and it's still, even when you get hit, it has the sound effect that you lost rings, even though you didn't lose rings, because you had a shield and you just took a. You know how in like the 16-bit games, where if you get hit, it like the hit sound effect goes dong. Like you get you hit, it goes dong noise, and then you know when you get hit and you lose your rings, you hear the ring scatter effect noise sound effect. And for the most part, most of these Game Gear games have the same like sound effect like library of sound effects, and this game's got the same like ring sound effect of losing your rings as like all the other Game Gear games. So when you get hit when you have a shield, it still plays that noise like you lost rings, even though you didn't lose rings. It's kind of weird. It's like like I said, it just seems like they didn't bother to change things that needed to be changed, that should have been changed, but I don't know, man. It's kind of odd. I've been complaining a lot in this video. Trying to jump up here and then finally get out of this hellscape. I don't know what the difference is with the signpost. As you can tell, sometimes when you pass the goal post, you get like a picture of Sonic, a picture of Knuckles, you might get a Chaos Emerald, you might get a ring, and then sometimes you just get flat out Super Sonic. I don't know what these do, and frankly, I don't care. I don't know. I'm assuming that if you cleared the goalpost with like, and it gave you like a ring on the goalpost, you got some rings at the end of your total or something. I don't know. I don't know what Super Sonic means. Because Supersonic isn't even in this game because we don't even have 7 Chaos Emeralds. We don't even have 6. I think this is like the first game that only had 5. Like, why do we only got 5 Chaos Emeralds in this game? That's just an odd number. I mean, it is an odd number, but you know what I mean? It's a weird number. Anyways, this is where I learned, right here, that if Eggman shoots the ground in this boss fight, he makes an air bubble on the ground. And I don't know why I'm not hitting him. Like, look at this. I'm not hitting him. It's making a sound effect but I'm not hitting him. What is going on? Weird physics. Oh my god. This game, man. This game. I'm just gonna avoid him. I'm trying to not jump and make him like phase right through me. But I also want him to shoot the ground so that way I can get the air bubble here, and I missed my opportunity too, so give me that air bubble, please. Thank you. Almost died there. And of course, noise sound effect when I didn't hit him. Ugh. I just like phase right hit through him, and I have to hit him at a certain angle in order to do that. I really don't like that they put this boss underwater. Like, I get it, it's a water stage. But I don't like having to micromanage my air meter while I'm fighting the boss. That's annoying. I can't think of any other Sonic game that like the water level makes you do that. I can't think of anything like that. Anyways, we're in the final zone of the game. Final zone of this video for Sonic Blast. Are y'all excited? Because I am. Anyways, Silver Castle Zone. Again, what the gimmick of the zone is, we have to activate the machine that we just, spawned into by, letting the lever, like, charge up or something like that. The platforms has, like, a lever to charge up the teleporters on the machine. So, yeah, you want to jump up to this guy right here where the rings lead to. And then we come into, as soon as you find the room that has this machine in here that you need to power up on, then you know you're in the right, you go in the right way. So you come in here and activate this teleporter after you charge up the machine, and it takes you to the last Act 1 special stage of this video. Thank goodness. But once you do that, you find your last Act 1 special stage of this video. Thank goodness. Again, Silver Castle is weird because the Silver Castle special stages are a little bit harder than the other ones because they have a lot of these instances where you have to go from all the way to the left and all the way to the right. But since your character is super slow in moving between the two, between left and right, before the rings hit you, or before the rings pass you, I mean, it becomes kind of hard to get to collect all 50 rings, and especially since they don't have many rings in the special stage to begin with. Like, literally, I just got 50 exactly. I missed a couple, and I barely made it out. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, there's a lot of things in this game that they could have fixed. And it made me appreciate, like, I get it, this was an 8-bit game that was on a handheld, but I remember playing, like, a bunch of other platformers on various handhelds that I absolutely love, and I get it, this was kind of, like I said, it's an 8-bit system, but I remember playing, like, Super Mario Land. I love that game to death. It was a game I grew up with. It was my first Mario game. I loved Super Mario Land. That game doesn't have, like, weirdness to it. And it's an 8-bit game, too, on the Game Boy. And I don't know, man. I know that games are hard to design and whatnot, but it just feels like that the only thing that they were trying to focus with this game was the graphics. Like, trying to show, like, oh, look at these realistic style, like, pre-rendered, I don't know if it's like the right buzzwords or whatever they are, and frankly I don't care, but look how good the graphics are for these sprites. I don't care about graphics if the gameplay is dooey. If the gameplay is poopy, I don't want to play it. I don't care if it looks good. And even then, I don't even think they look good. They look silly in their sprite works. They don't look like Sonic and Knuckles like in the other games. I don't care about poopy graphics, I don't care about graphics if the gameplay is poopy. I know that I'm not the only one that feels that way. Like, especially with how gaming is nowadays, when everybody's trying to chase fidelity and, like, you know, graphics and everything else, trying to make everything look as realistic as possible, and focusing all their time on, like, how many strands of hair are on a character's head. Like, I don't care about any of that unless, you know, the gameplay is fun. The gameplay is fun, that's all that matters. I don't care if, like, because I'm not gonna pay attention to stuff like that in the first place. Sure, I might look at a game if it's really pretty, like Breath of the Wild, for instance. Like, you go and see the opening sequence of Breath of the Wild every time, it's like, man, this game looks so gorgeous. That's fine. But that's only like one instance of that 400-hour game. 400 if you're trying to represent it, but you get my point. That's like that one instance where you're sitting there looking at it. I remember, like, when Final Fantasy VII Remake came out, and even when I recorded it, I was like looking at it and I was like, oh, this game looks so pretty, I love it. But, like, literally I focused on it for like a couple of seconds out of that whole game. That's what I'm talking about, is like, graphics should matter. Like, they should matter, but they shouldn't be the main focus of what you're trying to achieve. If your gameplay is horrible, I don't care. Flat out. If the gameplay is so stupid, I don't care. I'm not gonna enjoy it. Anyways, that's kind of where my stance is when it comes to, like, gameplay and graphics. It's just like, I don't, like, graphics are like the third most important things to a video game to me. Third or fourth most important thing to the game to me. The first one's obviously gameplay. If I'm not having fun, I don't want to play it. Flat out. I don't know what the other two... I guess the second one would be... I guess it would be story, I guess? I don't know. I'm trying to think of, like, what other factors make a game. It's like, oh, you got gameplay. Oh, I guess mechanics is another thing. I guess mechanics would be the second thing. And then story would be third. And then, obviously, graphics would be the last one. Oh, music. Music's another thing. Yeah, music's important to me. The music is pretty good. I'll probably pretty enjoy it. I wouldn't say it's, like, the most important thing, though. Anyways, we got through this last zone. Enough of my TED Talk on that. And we're going into the penultimate boss, the Silver Castle Zone Act 3 boss. Again, this zone is weird. Another questionable decision that this game does is the fact that the boss stages have you go play a little bit of a level, like cryptic level design. I wouldn't say cryptic, like annoying level design before you go fight the boss, which I just want, when I fight the boss on a platformer, if it's a stage, I just want to, you know, walk over to the boss, because if I die to the boss, I have to do all this nonsense over again. You know what I mean? It's like I get to do all this crap I'm doing again on the run back. And I didn't even know, it's funny about the word run back, is I didn't even know that existed until I played Dark Souls. When I played Dark Souls and I saw people talk about run back, I'm like, oh, that's what they mean. Is like after I die to a boss, then I have to run back to the boss, and the trip that takes there to, and the annoyance of having to walk all the way back to the boss, defeat the same enemies, blah, 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 blah. And now I kind of see that as a thing, especially with these games with have boss stages and stuff like that. It's like, okay, I gotta go fight the boss, but How long is that run back to get to said boss if I die to the boss? Which makes me thankful that this game has save states, because I could just skip all that and just save state at the boss. I don't have to do all that run back. And that's my other thing, like the status, like save states and whatnot. Especially with these older games, I'm really super duper thankful for it, because I'm in my mid-30s right now and I just don't have time to have the patience to do all these stupid old games. I shouldn't say stupid, but like I have to have the patience to do to grind myself with like these old games and their mechanics, because you know most of the old games were built with the whole idea of like wasting your time with challenging parts, I guess. So it makes me like I really do. And I know people are like, oh, don't use save states, but at my age, I just don't care. I'm gonna use it to make it more convenient for me. Like in these segments where I don't have to run back, that's what I'm talking about. Anyways, this is the same boss as we fought before, the breakout boss, the one that I actually kind of like. Because, yeah, in certain situations, like here, Eggman tricks you. He thinks he's gonna do the one side, and he ends up like switching it up on you. He's gonna like, I'm gonna do that side, and he's like, no, I'm actually gonna do this side. I think he's doing, yeah, I really like that. This boss is actually a well-designed boss, and I like it. The only boss that I think is like super duper well-designed. Just have to keep an eye out where that arm is reaching up, and if he changes it up and everything. Yep, that was the last hit. Good. And with that, we defeated the penultimate boss with Knuckles. Completed Act 3 of Silver Castle Zone. And since we got all the Chaos Emeralds, we get to play the final boss, the true final boss. The one with the egg drone with Eggman's face on the computer screen, and you had to jump on the base in order to jump into the middle here. And you guys remember how I told you about how the jumping makes this... Knuckles' jump makes this a little bit easier boss fight? In the boss fights? Yeah, I was talking about this guy. Look at that. I can see where Knuckles is basically at. Like, he's off screen just a little bit, but he's not like super duper off screen like Sonic does. He's not that like uncontrollable. I can see where he's going, so I can kind of position him in order to hit Eggman easier. This is what I was talking about. Like the screen crunch. If this screen crunch wasn't here, I wouldn't be complaining about this. But since it's here, Knuckles makes these boss fights a little bit easier because of his little gimp jump here. I can see where Knuckles is going to land when I jump. I can control him where he's going to land because I can see him still on screen a little bit. He may go off screen just a little bit, but in the same sense, like he's not like super duper off screen, and see where his trajectory of falling down and gravity's going to take him, essentially. I can see the arc where his jump's gonna go. And that makes this boss fight a heck of a lot easier. And now all the complaining I did with Sonic is pretty much null and void now I'm playing as Knuckles. I actually was like super duper happy I was having a hard time, or not, sorry. I was super duper happy having an easier time with this final boss as Knuckles than I was with Sonic, because literally this was my one and only attempt at this final boss with Knuckles, and I was super duper happy about that. I was like, because when I was playing a Sonic, I had to reset, I want to say like 4 times on this boss because of the issues I was having with him. But with Knuckles, it was just this one time. I don't know why they give you 99 rings during this boss fight. I guess it's because they knew it was difficult, to say the least. And I guess they were trying to imitate a supersonic boss fight, I guess. I don't know. But without Supersonic being here, so they give you 99 rings in order to fight Eggman here. But, I mean, I'm thankful because that gives me a couple of hits in order to hit Eggman here, but in the same sense, it's fine. One thing I didn't even mention about this game was until like we're right at the end here. I do like it that you only lose 10 rings whenever you get hit. You don't lose all your rings. Thank you. Anyways, Eggman's defeated. We're done. We finished all the both games of this, both playthroughs of this game. Knuckles doing his Belmont stance, watching the Death Egg, I guess, crumble. Even though I don't recall the Death Egg ever being in this game. And Knuckles has the Chaos Emeralds too, and he just tossing them like Sonic does. They didn't even really change that much different. It's because Sonic does the same exact thing. Anyways, that was Sonic Blast. You already know my thoughts on this game. Made it pretty apparent in this video. I don't like this game. It only has a handful of things good for it that I can think of that I talked about. And some of those are just like accidents. Like the whole thing with Knuckles having a gimp jump made the boss fights a little bit easier because the screen crunch was a problem. And I guess the breakout boss fight, the penultimate boss, was a breakout, and I thought that was a pretty cool design. Sonic's double jump is the only other good thing about this thing. Everything else, just don't play this game. That's the old moral of the story is. But I've rambled on for nearly 2 hours. I'm done. So I'll put this over to live commentary Matthew. Back when he recorded this. He was tired at the end. Oh my god, it's done. Yeah, that was Sonic Blast for the Sega Game Gear. I still stand by. I really, really don't like this game. This game is not good, in my opinion. Ugh, but at least it's all done. So, anyways, in the next episode of Let's Play Sonic Origins Plus, we have one more game left in the Game Gear section. And that's Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next episode.